which way to the front?
Mind your baguette.
Very important that.
Oh, now social distancing. That's it. So, Chappie, why are we sitting here socially distanced in a train?
Well, we're on our way because we're silly buggers and suckers for punishment, I guess. Off to do the Varusteleka remote march challenge. And so we're heading up the valley here to Zweisimmen and walking all the way back to our starting point, which is, I believe, 27 kilometers, give or take.
Roughly.
Yeah, according to the Wonder map.
Yeah, so the rules are either 25 or 50 kilometres on this weekend. It's the 24th, and our Swiss social distancing rules are still in place.
Yep.
And you've got to carry at least 10 kilos all the way through, so 10 kilos not including food and water.
Yes.
Now, why are we both dressed up?
As I said, because we're suckers for punishment, but we also thought it was an opportunity to test out what it is to actually march in periods of World War II gear. Not just swan around at shows and competitions, but actually go for a good march with the stuff.
Yeah, so turn the camera around. I am, of course, wearing my hat ridiculous, and I've got all my British sort of D-Day level gear. And for those who don't know, you are dressed as
1939/40 French Zouave, in this case, 4th Regiment. Family history there. So yes, this is the gear, the latest gear.
we're being looked at funny.
1935 gear. So this would have been, if they'd have had it, the latest gear that you would have had as a French infantryman. And we'll see how modern and fantastic it is when we talk about it later.
Yeah. Who has the sillier hat though? You or me?
Vote. Vote.
Slap like now.
Slap like now.
Right.
Yeah.
So, well, we are going up to Zweisimmen, and once we are out on the platform, we'll each put the gear on and see how difficult that is. And because we have to be socially distanced, we will be using two cameras. Chappie has not got his camera out yet, so I'm just talking at him sitting over there, and we shall see how it goes.
Wir treffen in Zweisimmen ein. Endbahnhof. Die BLS bittet Sie auszusteigen und verabschiedet sich von Ihnen. Nous arrivons à Zweisimmen, gare terminus. Le BLS vous prie de bien vouloir descendre et vous dit au revoir.
We are arriving at Zweisimmen, terminus station. The BLS asks you to leave the train and bids you goodbye.
Right. March. Alright.
Alright.
You're safe.
Let's go find somewhere to deal with this stuff.
Alright.
Chappie's upset because I'm making him take it all off for the demonstration of exactly what it is he's wearing.
Just for you lot. It's non-trivial.
Come on, it's just like doing a suspender belt. You should be experienced at that.
Far more experience. Right.
So before you ask, we have to do it here because this is the official start. This is the signpost. So sorry if there's any traffic. So first of all, Chappie, what are you wearing?
Right.
And why?
Why? Well, I'm wearing my French World War II, beginning of World War II, obviously, 39-40, basic wool uniform, and this would have been the latest gear. Came out in 1935, and the French distribution, including the boots, by the way.
We'll talk about them in a moment.
Yeah. Basically, French material distribution was ad hoc. So you got whatever you were given. There was no sort of systematic distribution, forward rolling of gear, handing in of old stuff. you would get regiments with half and half or bits of one. So you see in photos, you see an incredible mix of gear. So just because it was easier, and frankly, there's only one company I know of that does reproduction World War II gear, French World War II gear. So I chose the 1935. It means also that the equipment you can get is serviceable. We'll see after a proper march how well it holds up. But yes, so this is fourragère, it's called. I don't know what it's called in English.
Or lanyard.
The lanyard. Okay, anyway. That is relevant to a battle honour the 4th Zouave Regiment received in May 1918. And then you would have, the regiment has the right to wear this also.
Okay, so what's the curly whirly on the other?
Curly whirly, that is, doesn't have to be worn, but that's basically to stop your rifle strap from coming off your shoulder when you're marching.
And rifle would have been a, no, let's just let the train go.
Yeah.
Noisy buggers.
Bye-bye. So,
Anyway, back to the plot. Rifle
yes.
could have been?
A MAS 36, although highly unlikely because they were stationed in North Africa at the outbreak of the war, so they would have had a Berthier M16 long rifle.
Sticky out bolt handle.
Sticky out bolt handle, yeah. Got some Berthier clips.
Ooh, they always work fantastically.
But they were new then, so
Yep.
they would have worked. And this hat is called a Chechia, traditional Zouave hat. Would obviously not have been worn in combat. It was just for parade, marching, and camp.
It's definitely camp.
Definitely camp. Otherwise, they would have had the good old M26 Adrien, which I'm also carrying just to put the weight up.
So what are you wearing under the
Under,
coat?
I have a cotton shirt, very modern. It's probably about the only modern bit of kit. Modern cotton shirt, sort of old style tailoring, so it only opens to here, and has the long tails front and back, and suspenders. No bra, not yet.
Around your neck?
And around my neck I have a cravat. Now normally infantry would have had a linen tie, or cravat de régate, with sort of square-ended tie, and the colonial troops, North African troops, had the right to wear a cravat instead because of when they were stationed it was unbelievably hot, and their collars of the woolen uniforms would rub against the skin, so they wore this instead.
So they would still wear this heavy wool stuff in North Africa?
Right, now, the coat was worn at all times. If you were given permission, you could wear the tunic, which is rolled up in there, on its own, and you often see them in barracks with just the short tunic. But the coat was the standard gear, and if it was cold, you would wear the tunic and the coat.
Ugh.
And you also always see the ends folded up, of course, so you can move freely.
And on the bottom part of your body,
Well,
breeches?
breeches, these are affectionately known as golfing trousers, so they are cinched under the puttees here, so there's a buckle here, and then they're laced up underneath.
And then the cheapest boots of us all today.
That's it.
From Landy.
Landy, cheapest of the cheap quality, which is only slightly better than the 19th century leather-soled hobnail boots that I should be wearing.
Right, so let's get your gear on.
Right.
So how does this go? And what is it as you put it on?
If some of you have seen my press-up vid, you'll have seen already the basic layout. It starts with cartridge belt webbing. This basically did not change from World War I. The number of holes changed, and only the rear part is connected with this buckle system. World War I, they've got the front pouches connected that way too. Here now we've just got belt buckle connection. 1935 pouches.
And that goes on.
Own confection. Now let's see if I can put this on without dropping. These
I
are from
can't help
lead.
you, I have to stay 2 meters away.
Absolutely.
So you've got to do it yourself.
This is why you've got to have a good mate.
From the same household.
From the same household. Okay, so that's as tight as can be.
Now, we were actually discussing on the train that this actually puts a lot of the weight on the hips.
This uniform really distributes most of the weight. It doesn't distribute, it puts it on the hips. And then the cartridge pouches are connected there with a popper. And to get the weight up, I've got lead in there. Dutch lead.
Yeah, it came off a Dutch
Do you remember
roof.
though?
Yeah, I remember collecting that.
Collecting that, exactly. Then
So-
we've got a general purpose bag, which would have held in sort of marching order your food and ammo packs for the MG. There would also have been, if you're a gunner, you'd have had the monopod here in the loops in the middle. MG magazines here in the front. So this you could wear either the shoulder strap, or you hook it on to D-rings which are on the bottom of the ammo pouches, and this is a tricky bit. I'll undo that. There's also a D-ring on the, what do you call it? Back piece.
There is a technical name for those things, but I can't remember it.
Yeah, someone will tell us. There.
There we go. And
So that puts it also on the hips.
yeah,
Then you have,
do you have to deal with the floppy strap there?
oh, I will, but I'll put it into the same
Oh, okay, so it just clips in there.
clips in there. Water bottle,
Full of wine, of course.
of course. This also is strapped onto into the same system. I'll find my D-ring somewhere. Warm just standing here,
Yeah.
trying to do contortions. There.
Right.
Right, so this is still pretty stable. We've got more or less the same weight on each side as it is. And then we have the upper pack. Sac supérieur,
The superior bag.
upper
Bag,
bag,
I know.
with regulation baguette. And yes, this would have held more ammo, depending on your role, and all other assorted bits for your own personal camp. You'd have had half a blanket, because this coat is your blanket, and you only got half a woolen blanket to cover whatever isn't covered.
Oh, jeez.
You'd had tent pegs, that kind of thing. If you were proper marching order, you'd have had a lower pack, which would strap on to this. Pack inférieur, sac inférieur, also known as a tape-cul, because it would hang below and bounce off your ear.
Yeah. Tap cul literally means tap arse.
Yeah. So yeah, and this goes on. Most countries have more or less the same kind of system. A sort of buckle.
And that would have been worn when fighting?
That would have been worn when fighting. So not always, but trenches and things. Probably not.
Hey!
Where is it?
I can't help you. I can't help
There
you,
it is.
man.
I've got it. I've got it.
100 franc fine if I help you.
And that,
That's actually quite similar to what I'm going to show in a minute,
Yeah.
in a way.
I probably knotted them all, but
Yeah, you've got a few straps you need to
I'll sort that out.
sort out in a minute.
Something like that. There. And the last thing is the respirator. This would have gone over everything, and that was worn on whichever side. And I don't have the mask in there. They're unfortunately very brittle, and you don't get very many that survive. But how this would have been used, there is also inside a belt, which would, you sometimes see them hooked over like this, and then also around the waist. But how this would have been used was, if you got given the order, you put your arm through, shorten the strap,
Ah, cunning.
if necessary, put this around your waist, put the mask on, and you leave the canister and the pipe in there.
Cthulhu.
Yeah. So,
Cool. Cunning.
there we go.
Right.
Now I will take the camera and you can show off your horribly modern equipment.
So, I'm dressed as a British soldier circa D-Day with the earlier 37 pattern, not the austerity pattern, battle dress. Now, we've gone into these in the past on the channel, particularly when I was in Canada with Rob of British Muzzleloaders, and basically this is styled after a ski suit of the era. So at the top you've got a little short tunic, which also helps to save material, which attaches with buttons to the trousers. I've got a grandad shirt with a round neck, and I'm not going to undoing these hooks and doing the back up's a complete pain.
You can see.
It again only opens down to about the midriff. Little belt thingy there. Braces. Big, baggy woolen trousers, which are actually great. I actually use these as my ski trousers when skiing. They are brilliant. They do work as intended. Gaiters, canvas, and the boots that I'm wearing, they're post-war. They are boots DMS, which are the same cut as the leather-soled hobnailed ammo boots of the era, but they are rubber-soled, which is much better. You don't wreck your carpet.
I won't hold it against you.
No. So that is my concession to modernity and comfort there. The hat is a Cap General Service or Cap Ridiculous. This particular Repro one is particularly ridiculous, but we like it that way. Map pouches, field dressing pouch, which has just ripped, unfortunately, and yeah, that's about it. It's actually pretty good. Now, as for the kit, first of all, this is the lightweight respirator. I do actually have the respirator in here. We're going to put this on first. These were carried on D-Day, and then you don't see them much in photos afterwards, because I think once it was clear there was no gas hazard, they tended to ditch them. But I believe they're mostly seen with this put on first. They did have hooks to go on the belt, but you mostly see these hooks taken off, and actually to find an original Holt carrier with the hooks on is quite tricky. In that case they go on horizontally on the belt, but people tended to apparently just hang them like that. Then we have 37 pattern webbing, and he can't help me. The point of putting this on first is that the waist belt here holds the strap down, stops it bouncing around, and it also means that if you take your webbing off, you've still got your respirator on.
So discussing this on the way up, it's the inverse for my gear, that you don't ditch your gear, you just get on with it and put your respirator on.
Well, here you just put your respirator on, but if you were doing something without your gear, you
That's hang on, the handle of your entrenching tool. Your entrenching tool is, yeah, the hand. Push the handle to your left, because it's twisted round.
Oh, right, that would be a problem then. That would be why. All right, let's start that again.
This gives me great comfort.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, try again. So, 37 pattern webbing. Let's just see if I can actually get it on this time.
That looks.
Does that look better?
No, your entrenching tool's up your back now.
Oh, jeez.
Ah, there you go.
There we go.
You're good.
Oh, there we go.
So if people can see, that is how it's supposed to be. Your handle is coming out of its loops.
Right, let's put that back in. Now, the difference from early war, so when Tommy Atkins could have been fighting alongside Jean Poilu, the respirator was the classic World War I style small box respirator type thing, on the front, worn on the front. Initially they weren't planning on issuing entrenching tools with this gear. You'd be given shovels and picks. Early on, So for Dunkirk, they had a little German type spade thing that was hung on the left. I've got two, well now here it's the World War I style that they started reissuing, but they'd also issue picks and shovels as well, and they'd just carry them however they could. Two basic pouches would typically, for an infantryman, have had 2 Bren gun mags in here, and then later in the war we'd have had 1 rolled up bandolier for refilling Bren mags, any grenades that were issued, any other ammo, pyro, that sort of thing. Water bottle is hung off the straps. I mean, this is of its era, there's straps all over the place and everything's just hung off. In the initial manual, this was actually meant to be carried in the small pack, which goes on top. And even after they started hanging the water bottles off the belts, the packing list for the small pack, shall we say, is epic. I'm really not quite sure how they actually got everything in it.
It's an intelligence test.
Yeah. So, I mean, in theory, what's supposed to be in that there is your mess tins, your iron ration, your food, a thin wool sweater, a small towel, your sort of wash kit, maintenance kit, stuff like that, and then the cape, which you can see poking out. You often see them done like that. But it was highly improbable packing list and quite impressive. Now, from an engineering perspective, what's interesting here is that the small pack hooks onto the loops here, and the weight in the small pack is supposed to counteract the weight in the ammo pouches and balance. Now, with modern gear, I have girly hips, so I have a great advantage that I can cinch belts up on my hips and carry the weight on my hips. Here I've got everything on the shoulders basically. These are up high so you can sit in the vehicle, and weight-wise I've got something heavy and bulky in here. I've got some lead bars in here and the camera and stuff, and plus water, plus rations. I'm over 10 kilos with the lead bars and everything before I put the water and the food in. So
Yeah, well, them's was the rules.
Them was the rules. Them's the rules. I'm not carrying my helmet because I haven't actually got a way to attach it. If I was in marching order rather than fighting order, I could have the helmet attached on the large pack, and then the small pack or haversack gets attached on here and here somehow. Nightmare. Anyway, I think overall I've got no leather in this, so my maintenance is going to be easier, although blanco. That.
Yeah.
You can get the weight on your hips.
The balance is also good.
I mean, your small pack system is basically similar.
Yeah, I have removable side straps under the arms.
I don't. I unhook and take the whole thing.
Yeah. But one thing we discovered on mine is if there are little loops on the coat, so I can take some of the weight of the belt onto the coat. But basically, if I undo my belt, everything comes off.
Yeah.
Which is quite useful, probably more for rescuing an injured soldier. You just undo their belt and leave the rest behind and get him out.
Ah, cunning.
But the backpack, yeah, we have the same system, which is relatively quick to undo. And
yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's not modern.
Yeah.
Neither of these are modern.
No.
At all.
But yours is still considerably more modern than mine.
Yeah.
Just the use of canvas and.
Yeah, and it's modular, and it's much more predicated on the infantryman being an ammo carrier for the machine gun, because I mean, the rifleman's own ammo was 50 rounds in a cloth bandolier, and the cloth bandoliers are pretty shocking, to be honest.
Yeah.
In use, but I think, well, with a 10-round mag, we overestimate how much people were actually reloading. I think we overestimate how much people were firing. At all.
Yeah.
So we end up with this system with universal patches, and this is going to annoy me all day because this popper is screwed, and I tried to fix it in the train, and I think I made it worse. Anyway,
shall we start?
So we shall stop blathering about kit.
We can do that on the way.
Start walking, and then we can blather more on the way. See how it goes.
So where is it on here?
Everything goes up that way.
Everything goes up that way. Excuse me.
Going Boltigan. Yeah.
Yeah. Next stop, Boltigan. 2.5 hours.
Yep.
All right, let's go.
Right.
Looking gorgeous.
Off we go then. Beautiful.
Fortunately, or perhaps unfortunately, it's not tourist season.
We'll certainly be getting interesting looks.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have gone approximately 200 metres and
lost the sign.
are lost.
Oh, jeez.
Has to be said that Swiss signage relies heavily on knowing where you're going.
And there's a Wanderweg sign. So you were just supposed to know that if you were going to one of the places that weren't on that last sign, you were to go this way. But there was no indication there was no indication to go this way. You're just supposed to know. He's on his water already.
Be wine later.
Oh, we're coming out of town now. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Except my ugly face in the middle. Now, part of the rules of this walk are that some of it has to be on road and some of it on paths and tracks. And we're still on the road, but we shall shortly, hopefully, be on some track.
There's some shade.
Yeah. I'm going to try and keep this done up as much as I can, but I suspect that I will give in relatively quickly. Because us modern types are not used to this.
Same with the hat.
Yes, the hat will probably come off too. We're rather used to cutting around in shorts and a t-shirt, even when the weather's like that. Yeah, I'll be overdressed for him some days. Jeez. Okay, here we are. Next signpost up there. See which way it takes us.
We're not very old.
Future Bratwurst.
So, how is it for you so far?
It's we're just over a kilometre, and I'm not used to having the weight evenly distributed and pushing straight down on my shoulders.
Yeah.
I'm used to backpacks with most of the weight on my hips, and if it's on my shoulders, it's pulling me backwards. But being more or less evenly distributed here is somewhat different. I'm wearing these up high, like in the manual, but you see a lot of the time in archive photos and film, people wearing them a lot lower. Now, most of them are a lot shorter than me. I'm 5'11", 180 centimetres in new money.
Giant of a man in 1940.
Yes. So I might see if I can set this a bit lower, but the problem is that it's all interdependent. So if I manage to get the waist belt lower,
Yeah, to adjust the rest. Yeah.
the small pack will then have to come up higher, which is probably not a bad thing, but we'll have to see. But because there's stuff attached to all the ends, and these are all the lengths of all the braces are intended for shorter people than me, I'm not sure.
You go first.
Sure, I'll be able to do it, but maybe at the first rest stop I'll try it.
All right.
How's it hanging?
Good. I think the initial hotness of starting marching is over now, and now I've got a nice bit of sweat to cool me down on the inside, funnily enough. This is great. I can really see why they put this on the neck, because, yeah, when you get hot and sweaty, this is going to be nasty against the skin. Weight-wise, getting used to the first rise we had, I really felt it in the top of the legs. You've got everything here bearing down. Now it's all right. But weight-wise, I think it's pretty well balanced. Getting to your water bottle is a right pain. I got this in the way, and then
God, it's really hanging down low.
yeah, you can adjust it. This one, I've already put it on the highest it can go, but I could put another hole here.
We're going to have to do a little run. We're going to have to do a 50-metre dash or something at some point just to see how it goes.
And my cork's knackered, so it leaks everywhere.
Yeah, so's mine.
But otherwise, it's comfortable. This is great for just having quick access to your mug or a snack while you're on the road.
Yeah, I don't have access to anything except ammo and sort of the water bottle, but I need two hands to get at the water bottle.
Well, the ammo's here. So, yeah. We'll see another few kilometres.
Right, so what I'm going to try and do is just do a little bit of adjustment on this just to get it all to ride lower, but I'm limited to a certain degree by how much I can do that because of the water bottle and the e-tool hanging off of these straps here. The other problem is that no matter what I do, this is going to want to sit at a certain point on my back. Even if I want it higher up, it's just going to keep pulling. So what I'm going to try and do is loosen these straps off as much as I can, so that I can have these further down. At the bottom they're already pretty much as loose as they'll go. This is real choreography of straps and buckles.
That's it, yeah. Everything's got a knock-on effect.
Yeah, there's no independent adjustment basically. You adjust one thing and it's going to fiddle with something else because everything's hanging off of everything else. So let's just see if I can get this down an inch or two.
And of course, as you're using stuff up, ammo or water or whatever, the weight's changing and it's all going to move again.
At least I've not got anything hanging off this strap. It's about the only independent adjustment I've got on the whole thing is this. Except that then interacts with this. Ah. Jeez. So what's that look like standing up? Might even actually get some of the weight on my waist at this rate. Okay. Is that looking even enough? And then we'll stick this back on. And then you see it pulls up on that, it loosens that strap. That's not the end of the world.
Yeah, you need to sort out your tunic under your belt. It's just a disgrace.
Sorry, Sergeant Major. Right.
That was not a tactical rest stop, honest.
No. Right, that feels a bit better. We shall see what it feels like in a few more kilometres.
Right then. Onwards down the valley. Rising up the hill. Get those knees up!
Knees up, Barbara Brad. Knees up, Barbara Brad.
1 kilomètre à pied, ça use, ça use. 1 kilomètre à pied, ça use les souliers. 2 kilomètres à pied. Tell you what, on the flat, going down of course, easy. As soon as you start going up, you just pause, just open, and you suddenly feel the weight, wherever it may be, even if it's evenly distributed. These things down the bottom have got to take it anyway.
Well, cheap landy boots actually survive.
Oh yeah, the boots will be fine. Maybe you can count the blisters afterwards.
I'm wearing 2 pairs of socks, I'm hoping.
Yeah, likewise.
I did actually bring a first aid kit, so we can deal with blisters.
Lance them, it's the only way.
Now, what's the story with the French rifle grease and blisters?
Sorry?
The French rifle grease and blisters.
What, you apply it on?
Yeah, but you'll use grease.
I don't have my grease box.
No, but if you'd like to explain to the people this odyssey.
What, putting rifle grease on your blisters?
Yeah.
What's strange about that?
Fair enough.
You need lubrication. That's why they're formed in the first place. So if you can make it slide, it's for the better. You get socks nowadays with double layer, which hinders blisters as well. So you get sliding between your heel and the back of the boot. That's pretty much the way. And you had your individual tin, which had your rifle grease and your leather equipment and boot grease in the same tin, both sides of the tin.
Interesting.
So it's not a universal grease for everything.
Okay.
So,
anyway, marche ou crève.
En effet.
So one interesting thing about this kit is it's so modular, and you'll see things being done differently in photos. For instance, you'll sometimes see the entrenching tool hung on the left rather than the back. Water bottle could be on the left. You could argue that I should have my resi on the left or water bottle on the left, so I've only got one thing on, but I've put them on this side. I might, when we stop, I might put this on the other side so it's not interfering so much with the water bottle. But to get the water bottle out of these carriers for a drink.
Oh, yours comes out. Luxury.
Luxury. Does it go back in though?
Yes?
Yeah, that didn't go too bad.
Not too bad.
If that folds in, you can end up fighting it. There's another type which is a strappy carrier, and that can be harder work to get it in and out. But I think we are spoilt these days with an expectation to drink little and often, whereas back in the day, they wouldn't.
You have a water stop and then off you go.
And then that's it.
I keep on expecting the handle of your e-tool to fall out.
Yes, it's not actually retained other than by friction.
Yeah.
There we go. I did actually lose one in Canada, but Rob happened to go back there and found it. I offered to pay for a replacement, but yeah, that's not the greatest bit of design. But anyway, onwards and upwards.
So, how far's it been?
4 kilometres according to my GPS
just
on my
beeped.
phone.
All right.
And
still feeling good?
Hot and sweaty. It is true though that what Chappie said earlier, that it's not that bad once you started sweating. Oh, you're just dripping off your hat there. I sort of get the feeling that an equivalent sort of tog racing of fleece would just be dying. At least this is wool. But otherwise, yeah, these boots are flatter and harder than the modern walking boots, but we're surviving. I think another K will be about a fifth of the way through. Maybe we'll have a
first pit stop,
snack stop, have some chocolate or something, and it might rain today. And frankly, right now, I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, that would also be interesting.
Yeah.
We have the ruins of something there on the top of that hill. A little Swiss flag.
Lookout post or something. There's loads of little castles down here from back in the day.
All downhill from here, isn't it, Sarge?
Yeah, something like that. And I thought my boots were cheaty.
Yeah, I do have boots that look the part. They would not have survived the trek. So
Yeah, they're not actually walking boots.
we love you guys, but I love my feet more.
Can't have them walking barefoot.
They didn't have hipsters in those days.
Miserable view though.
It's horrible.
Can't imagine why we live up here.
The air is just disgustingly pure. Horrible.
So I've got a nice stone railway bridge here, and Chappie will just point out the covered up entry to the demolition chamber in this this pillar here, just for information. Built probably World War II early, this one. I don't think this one would have been mined prior to that. This is probably a World War II demolition setup. So 5k in.
5k in.
20% of the way, roughly.
Yeah.
Well, a bit less. How are you feeling?
Good. I think my feet will suffer in the end.
Yeah.
Starting to get a few pressure points.
Ooh.
But
How's having so much weight on your shoulders?
it's alright. I mean, you can definitely feel it. I don't know whether it's intentional, but if I just lift one, it releases on the other,
Oh no.
the weight, so I can relieve them now and again, just get the blood flowing a bit.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't mind too. But having certainly from my perspective, having so much weight on my shoulders with no padding, we're just not as hard as they used to be.
Oh,
we
no.
are a pair of softies compared to the guys back in the day.
So we're probably going to have two divots in our shoulders for a week after this,
Yeah.
until the flesh comes back.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to have a little drink too, a little bit of chocolate. See if I can get this just a little bit lower. It certainly is better being a little lower. I'm just going to see what I can do with it. So I've loosened that off as far as it'll go. I'll wear the resi on the left as well and see. Chappie's fiddling over here with his prehistoric water bottle.
Yeah. See how much rust I drink with this.
And he's got his chocky out. My chocky is still in here. So just to show you quite how little room there is in these things to keep everything you supposedly need for 24 hours. They're pretty small. I mean, I haven't got anywhere near as much in here as the packing list, but really it must be absolutely jam-packed, solid. Right, chocolate.
Guess once you've done it a few times. There's the other one gone.
There you go. Yeah, you got it. You got it. Yep. Now imagine it doing it tired, shagged out, cold, miserable, underfed.
Yep. Got the chocky. So while you've seen bloke twiddle away with his canvas bondage gear, I have, of course, limited adjustability. I can adjust the pack straps a bit, but yeah, you have to take the whole gear off to do it. However, because everything is more or less separate, you don't have this knock-on effect of changing one thing and it's pulling somewhere else. And actually now, I must say, the shoulder straps, basically you can't feel it anymore, and either that's my shoulders becoming numb, or maybe the weight of everything has settled down and the body just gets used to it. And certainly the uniform is actually not as hot now, and we're in the baking sunshine. The hat is, however, extremely hot, and I do have to keep taking it off now and again to sort of vent like a chimney. I'm surprised my head doesn't whistle when I do it. And yeah, and it's got a sweatband, but it's that's already full saturated. So yeah, the undershirt is soaked and is actually keeping me nice and relatively cool. The trousers, so with the double layer of wool, effectively, we can't really feel it. It's not, you know, I can't feel that it's squelching with sweat or anything. So actually surprisingly comfortable.
Okay, so I was just telling us we're past the 8 kilometre mark. I'm walking on the soft stuff on the edge of the road because my feet are feeling kind of flat already. My right calf is playing up, yay, in a way it's never done before, and I run quite a lot. The gear, I've got it down as far as I can go, but the fundamental issue is that you are limited by the haversack, by how long you can get these straps, because I've got it sat on my back there. It doesn't really want to sit any higher. It's sort of kind of will if you hoik it up, but then where's the right strap? That strap. Hoik it up, will sort of sit a bit higher, but then it just wants to slip back down. What I might do when we stop for lunch about 12 is see if I can put the pouches a bit wider. Some modern style. You see that in photos as well, particularly Paras at Arnhem, see them with the pouches all over the place. Maybe it's certainly better lower down, but I'm kind of possibly at the limits of what I can achieve with it. Also because it relies on balancing the weight in the back from the weight in the front. In any case, even if you did get it lower down, if your pouches in the front aren't weighed down with ammo or whatever, and you've got your improbable packing list in the back, and it's actually quite heavy, it's just going to pull them up anyway. There's not a lot you can do about it, but there we go, onwards and upwards. You alright, chappie?
I'm good. You got longer legs than me.
The duck syndrome.
Yep.
Sorry, I shall try and shorten my pace somewhat.
It makes us ensures we have a distance between us.
Yes, good for social distancing. I just have to make sure that it doesn't end up being anti-social distancing as I extend the pace out too much. Right, onwards and upwards, or downwards, slightly.
Which way? This way.
I guess so. But now we've got to get some height gain. Oh yeah, there it goes.
Feet were grateful for that. Bit of a change of pressure on there.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, makes me glad we're not going up and over though.
These are going to be horrible.
I bet. I bet. But yeah, I'm very glad we wimped down, didn't go up and over.
Yeah.
That would have been about 1,000 meters up, 1,000 meters down. I think this is going to be hard enough doing it on the, well, not quite flat, but not going over the mountains.
Getting too old for this.
Yeah.
Oh, that.
You're
It's
40. I'm almost 40. Where's it gone?
Doesn't matter, don't worry about it.
It's inevitable. Right, made it to the edge of Bolt again, which is that way. But we've got another 20 minutes till we stop for lunch. Weissenberg, Erlenbach, Heudemtingen. This way, hopefully not too much tarmac, because both of our feet are starting to suffer.
Smart, yes.
We are... Oh, my phone is sweaty. We are 10k in.
All right.
Right.
And we've got a nice sunny stretch to go if along as well.
Yeah.
We're going to bake.
That could be interesting. Thus far, I've managed to keep the cap on and keep this buttoned up, but that might not last in the sun. But anyway,
Yeah.
catch you later. So we're just coming up to 12. There's a sign back there said Heudemtingen, what was it, 4 hours 25?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll do it quicker than that, unless our feet give in. We're just going to try and find somewhere convenient to have lunch.
Shade.
In the shade and rest our weary feet. I mean, after not quite 12k in my modern boots carrying this weight, easy. Boots DMS, less than optimal. Your cheapy landies.
Also suboptimal, especially the ball of the foot.
Right, next stop lunch. Seems as good a lunch spot as any. So, it's just over 12k, we've been going for just over 2.5 hours. It's just after 12 o'clock. It is time to get this crap off and have some food and rest our surprisingly weary legs. So, I should have filmed it, but he had as difficult a time taking his off as I did mine. Oh, you're wimping out and taking off the coat?
Look at that.
Oh, sopping.
Sopping wet.
More than mildly moist there. All right. Ha. Right. Food.
Yes.
So I've got 250 grams of bread, which is 25 grams more than the standard Swiss civilian World War II ration before they started putting potato flour in it, when they upped it to 250 because of reduced nutrition. Half a Swiss camembert, some pate, and some salami snacky things. Oh yeah. And this, because we're going to do a little toast in a minute. Chappie, what have you got?
Right, I have my nicely shaken up little mini Beaujolais. I have 2 manky sausages.
Ooh.
Also a camembert. And Swiss Army biscuits. These are awesome. Utter calorie bombs. Very good with cheese. And a 400 gram baguette, which I won't eat all of, but if you've got to live with stereotypes, might as well enjoy them.
Okay, so we've got our bottles ready. A socially distanced toast. Chappie, who are we toasting and why?
This is a toast to poor old Pascal. You will know him from Desert Brutality and the
Press-ups.
World War II press-ups. He was dying to try out his kit that he'd used, his World War II Swiss gear, pretty much all of it. Unfortunately,
Yeah, we were going to be here as 3 people.
Yeah, he was supposed to be here, but he's got some kind of manky foot thing going on and has been told to stay home, doctor's orders.
Yeah, note from matron, antibiotics actually.
Yeah, so we miss you, and this
Yep.
too.
Wish you were here. Cheers.
I don't think red wine's supposed to fizz, is it?
Could be that fizzy red wine champagne. There was some
Sounds horribly 80s.
yeah. There was some of that on the market a while back. But no, that's just Beaujolais.
Shaken up.
And
Not
he
stirred.
knows his claret from his Beaujolais, and I hope you get that reference. There's Chappie tries to reassemble himself.
Yep,
Certainly mine is easier to put on,
absolutely.
but yours might be easy to adjust. Once you're done with that, you can put your camera on. I'll just explain what I've been doing, fiddling around with mine. And all these loose bits to hang off it.
I was explaining earlier that it's a nice put on, but not much in there. But it's all independent, so you have less of this. Adjust one bit and the other one goes wrong.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
But yeah, it is a bit like an IKEA. A bit of furniture. Is it? Okay, that bit goes to there.
Okay, so what I've done here is I've moved the pouches out one notch each side towards a more modern position. Might adjust them more later. And then loosen the straps right off so I can actually get the belt tight around my girly hips, which was great. And I was thinking, okay, I've got everything on my hips. And then I put the haversack on and hook it on, and it just pulls them back up again a bit. So that's kind of annoying. And because the straps are intended for shorter people than me, there's a thick bit here where the wide bit attaches to the main bit. That ends up under this and pushed. And I've already been suffering this a bit. It gets pushed onto my bone there, but never mind. It's certainly feeling a bit more comfortable, and because I'm not carrying a rifle, what I can actually do is hoik that on my back and hold it with my thumbs like that, and that actually is the most comfortable I've been all day. But we'll see how that goes while walking. But yeah, it's certainly interesting experimenting with this loaded up, because as I probably said before, I've never walked with it with any decent loadout. So onwards.
So how's your rearranged strappage going?
It's working better for me. I've got a lot more weight on my hips. These being round a bit is helping that, because they're not butting into my thighs as I walk so much, because they're lower. I can hold like this, as I've said before, no rifles. It's certainly the most comfortable it's been all day. If I let it go and make sure that the straps are not actually on top of each other, it's not too bad. Because I'm not used to having weight on my shoulders.
Yeah. And because we're now going to get comments, why are we not carrying rifles?
Because that would likely be the end of our hobby and bloke on the range and everything else.
All right. So, people, don't ask.
I will say that in the future, we might try and get permission to do something like this while carrying rifles.
Yeah.
But we would not do it without a get out of jail free card from the police. So
Exactly. Not this time.
not this time, maybe on a future occasion. So we're filling up our water bottles at that trough there. What happened to you?
Equipment failure.
Oh dear.
My water strap has, one of them has, well, I guess it perished. It's a really long time in the making. No worries, I'll just make it shorter for now, so I can go home and make another one. So yeah, the advantages of canvas. That wouldn't have happened with canvas. Getting all sorts of funny looks from the locals. Hello, lovely.
Just past the 15k mark, we are going up
And up.
and up, quite a surprising amount. Chappie just saw that happen and wouldn't, what do you say?
Well, this is a child's channel, so I won't repeat it.
Yes.
I was unpleased.
It was an expletive uttered, and yes, we've been. Although this route overall, the end point is lower than the start point. Let's just say it has not all been downhill to any stretch of the imagination, and we're quite a long way above those houses down there, let alone the valley floor.
Yep.
So we'll see at the end. We'll get the stats off the GPS thing, and it'll tell us how much up, how much down, and all that, and how many calories I'd have burnt had I not been wearing all of this crap. And the point is, on a day like today, it's at least it's not blazing sunshine. It could have been 25 degrees in blazing sunshine, but we'd normally be doing this in like airflow shorts, a t-shirt, and a waist belt with some lunch and a bottle of water in it. Not in 12-14 kilos of gear plus however many kilos of clothing, because the clothing and the boots don't count. Let's not forget that they weigh a significant amount compared to modern stuff.
I weighed my tunic, which is 2 kilos in the pack. So this coat, maybe not quite double, but
yeah,
pretty much almost. Trousers for about 2 kilos.
In the original pamphlet for the 37 pattern webbing, there's actually a loadout where they weigh everything that the soldiers got on, and they were assuming 4 Brent mags at the time, which didn't happen. But in terms of general loadout, from boots to helmet to all the gear and everything that's in it, it tells you, and it's something like 44 pounds or something all in. It's something quite substantial like that, and we're certainly feeling that, even though we're not loaded out that heavily. Whew. And these boots are lighter than ammo boots, but there you go.
You gravity assist now.
Yes, we do. My knees won't like it, but my heart will. So onwards and literally upwards. So we can just over there see the hills on the other side of the Tunesay. Chappie has called a water stop.
Yeah.
Now, would you like to show people your cotton shirt, which will show the disadvantages of cotton base layers?
Oh, sure, at lunchtime.
Well, we've just done that. Dropped something. We've just done that big rise.
Well, it hasn't changed.
Oh, that is pretty gopping.
Can't get any more soap than it already is.
Nasty. My shirt is wool.
Keeps me cool though.
Keeps you cool. Well, until you get a heat injury when it cools off and you freeze to death.
Yes.
Mine's wool. It's just damp, but it's not sopping like that. Wool for the win. So hopefully this is the highest point, but we shall see. Definitely water stop time. So for those that care, that down there is Oberville im Simmental, and we're going to keep going down that way until we get back down to again. Hey! Or A, as it's called, up the valley.
Hey. Right, let's go then.
Go on then.
Right, just over 17k in. Do we feel like middle-aged men with shocky jobs?
Very much desk jockeys. We had a cheeky little off-camera sit-down water stop to take the pressure off. I've definitely got white pressure blisters on the bottom of my feet, but there's nothing I can do about them. At least I don't appear to have any friction blisters. These 1960 style boots DMS are hard compared to my modern lowers, and yeah, definitely feeling it now. But I've managed to keep the collar closed. I haven't opened that at all, even at lunch. I've walked with the hat on the whole time, and it's getting really heavy with sweat now. But I have taken that off at stops, and so I think we are surviving, given the circumstances. We are performing on the curve.
And well, behind this bend in the road, we can actually pretty much see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, you can see the back end of the Bergflur, you can see the Niesen, you can see the hill above Erlenbach, which is the last town before Oi. We'll have to see if my GPS beeps 25k at Erlenbach at the station.
We won't have finished.
No, we must get back to Oi. But it's going to be a painful last 8k or so, 9k.
Yep.
20k in, first bench. next to a fountain. How are your feet?
Agony.
Yeah, mine too. And it's started to rain.
That's alright. I don't care about the rain. Oh.
I think that the last few K there's going to be a lot less filming and a lot more just putting our heads down and just going for it. I think last sort of chocolate and
Old man noises all the way.
waterfill stop, and yeah, lots of old man noises from now on, I think. Right. Anyway, we're going to have some chocolate and stuff and then try and finish this thing. Right. Well, we actually, during that stop, did a video only kind of miming and then me typing on the phone live stream with Varusteleka, with Yari, which was interesting, but there we are. We got a few kilometres to go now. Oh, the feet sort of felt better, but now those pressure blisters again.
Yeah.
How are yours? Sloshing around?
Sitting on the bench and suddenly
Sitting on a park bench.
the back of the calves started cramping, so I got up very quickly and started running about.
Yeah, my calf that was started playing up at about 6 kilometres in, is just the pain from that is now being overwhelmed by my feet.
That's it.
Boots DMS suck. But
Pain is in your mind, so
yeah. So from Jethro Tull to Blackfield, while I'm melting in the rain, deep in pain.
yeah, and there's a bit of rain, which is
She's so fun.
shut up.
Right. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. So it just beeped. 25k, 6 hours 54 minutes, including breaks.
We've done it.
We're just before Erlenbach. We are hobbling, both of us quite significantly, and I'm seriously considering looking at the time for the train and just taking it the one stop to Oi if it works out. I think for all our heroics earlier, this is probably not a bad move given that both of our feet are wrecked. And yeah, we shall see. Glad we went for the short one over one day.
I had to, bring him down from his mad schemes.
Yep, you were quite right too. And glad we didn't decide to go over the top. We were both drunk an awful lot of water.
Yeah.
If we'd been on water rations, for whatever reason, which might have been the case going up over the top, because a lot of the high Alps aren't in operation yet, so there won't be the fountains. So yeah,
Trouble. Yeah.
I will be a bastard and give you the call. Do we get the train or do we walk the last bit? Your feet seem to be worse than mine.
How long is it?
It's another couple of K. It's another few K.
Okay.
2.5, something like that. Oh, I think this might be the train we're missing.
Oh well. Do you want to sit around and wait for it?
Trains are hourly. We'll just see which direction this train runs in, and then
Go from there.
go from there. Yeah. Bugger. This is going the same direction we are. Oh well. I think we'll end up walking it rather than sitting around for an hour.
I think we won't be able to walk if we sit around for an hour.
That's the thing.
Oh well, we'll stumble on, I guess.
C'est la vie.
C'est la vie. Marche ou crave.
Yep. So after we had to wait for ages standing there for two trains to go past, we took a combined democratic decision that discretion was the better part of valour. We are both office monkeys.
Yeah.
We are both wrecked.
And we completed the challenge.
Stretch goal fail.
Stretch goal failed. We've done more than 25. Just
We'll tell you once
reaching
we
it.
got there. We've just got to get to the station, which is
Just there.
just there. And then we'll do the debrief on the kit and everything.
Yeah. And we'll save the boots for when we get home.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if we took them off now, we might not get them back on again.
Yep. Alright.
Nearly there. Okay, we found a convenient bench. Debrief, you first.
Oh, these shoes are horrible.
Cheap landy boots
Cheap
suck.
landy boots suck, especially for the ball of the foot. The heel, not too bad. There's sort of a little needle pressure point.
Ooh,
But
nasty.
to so ignore that. The worst was the ball of the foot, left foot. I think I've got something probably about that big that went pop about 2k back.
Ha.
Because I can no longer feel the fluid sloshing backwards and forwards.
Nice.
So that's going to be pleasant to unwrap later.
How are the putties?
Surprisingly good. They stayed on. You don't actually feel them. You
All right.
don't feel the heat or...
I mean, you couldn't actually seal the top of your boots with them because they're modern low-heeled boots.
Yeah, exactly.
So they didn't do everything they were supposed
The real
to
boots
do.
would have gone higher, and they would be thinner as well, so you can get a tight wrap around the top. But yeah, that's just a consequence. But yeah, I was surprised they stayed on at all. And I guess the whole thing sort of acts as a sort of pressure bandage.
Yeah. Rest of the gear?
Rest of the gear, the actual clothes, they were good. You know, it's obviously, as you saw, the cotton shirt was soaked through, but then you got this on top, which keeps you warm, even when if you stop.
So warm, but not as bad as you might imagine, I think, is the takeaway.
Yeah, far less worse than I imagined.
Yeah.
And the pack, well, yeah, it hurts, but yeah, that's unfortunately there's no way like yours to try and heave it forward to relieve a bit. So you can push it out to the edges a bit, which I did now and again, just to relieve the edges. And these ones you don't really feel, the ones that hold up cartridge packs, because
They're probably slack because of the weight of the pack.
exactly it's linked to the pack here, so these are really not an issue. It was handy to get to food. It's just hanging here, so you can quickly grab a snack on the way. The water, once you get used to it, it's actually not too bad. Just slip your hand behind, unbuckle it.
You did make a point about balance when the water is expected.
Yeah, that was that's the unfortunate bit. As you consume, in our case, the water far quicker than the food. Everything, because of the D that slides on the ring here, is all over that way, because I've still got a lot of weight in the side pack here. So yeah, that was a problem.
Yeah, right. So we shall insert some footage from later when you inspect your feet,
My manky feet.
and you can all enjoy some Schadenfreude.
There's nothing leaking out the sides, so
Yeah. Well, we'll see how that is, and then do me.
right. Thank you, wifey, for this monumental cup of tea. Right, see what the damage is. Well, they're still white. Right, so this is, you can see how the uniform is underneath. You've got a cinch here, and then lace up along the edges. Right, this one should be the worst. There's a soggy patch. There's a big blister there and it's popped. And there's a pressure blister there, but you can't see anything. Trust me, it's there. There's the nail there. I've got this nice bucket here. Whoa! That's good. Ooh, it stings. This other one should probably be similar. Only pressure here, and a big one there. It's been and gone. Over to you, bloke. Whoa. This is worse than a walk. Right, over to you.
So, having seen the grotesqueness that is his feet, right, onto mine. We'll start at the bottom again. Boots DMS by modern standards suck totally. They're hard, they're flat. There's no. I mean, I'm sure they're a vast improvement on the leather-soled hobnail ammo boots from back in the day. But I think we come to the conclusion that people back in the day, they wore hard-soled shoes the whole time.
even before being drafted into the military or joining voluntarily, so they were used to it, and then their feet would have just got harder and calloused over time.
They had hobbit feet.
We are office monkeys. I run a lot in nice spongy Essex shoes, but yeah, that's pretty
Going up.
nasty. Well, let's just insert the results of this here.
Okay, these are actually 90s British Army issue socks over some close-fitting modern ones. So I haven't had any friction blisters, but let's have a look. If I can do it with one hand. Oh, nice. So we've got a nice pressure blister there, and actually, even if I put Compeed on it or whatever, it's just pressure. So the balls of the feet aren't too bad. That is rather annoying though. Let's see what the other side is like. Oh, similar deal on the other side. Nice. Yeah, we are spoiled these days with nice soft bouncy shoes. Ooh, nasty. Actually, my lower legs are in quite a lot of pain right now as well.
Right, you hope you enjoyed that. Moving up the gaiters, anklets. These are, to be honest, these are great. I mean, people used to whinge about them, but my experience with them has been absolutely fine. They do exactly what they're supposed to do. These seems to be sized correctly for me. They're done up tight at the. I mean, perhaps a size bigger would do. Someone turned up a repair instruction that said that too big was better than too small, because if they're too small, they wore out quite rapidly. The battle dress uniform. I mean, I've gone on about the battle dress uniform in other videos at various times. Warm, hot, but not as bad as you'd imagine. I managed to survive with everything done up all the way round, which is very much unlike me. As I said earlier, back up the valley, I am a shorts and t-shirt guy. People normally say, "Aren't you cold?" And usually the answer is, "No, I'm fine."
No chafing from the baggy trousers?
No, not at all. They don't chafe at all. I'm not sensitive to wool. I can imagine for guys that are horribly sensitive to wool that it was just unbearable. But they don't chafe. I mean, before modern stretchy fabrics, this was the way to get freedom of movement, was to have everything baggy. Freedom of movement, because of the short battle dress blouse / tunic. The wool shirt, I actually really like this shirt and I wear it quite a lot anyway. That's a nice bit of kit. As for the equipment, once I got it down, I'm just going to, excuse me, old man noises. Right, once I got it set up like this, lower with more weight on my hips, it was a lot more comfortable. I mean, this is the era when people carried weight on their shoulders as default, and this was designed so that there was weight on your shoulders. Once we get into 58 pattern, it's designed to be mostly on your hips. But this is better further out, and I can certainly see why in the photos you see them lower down further out, hanging off people. The straps ended up at different, the braces ended up at different positions, simply because this brace here is holding the water bottle at this end, so it's getting dragged down, and at the other end it's just holding one side of the e-tool. This one is loose at this end, there's nothing on it, it gets dragged up, and the other end has the e-tool and the other side of the water bottle. They don't stay very well. In fact, this has gone all the way up so that the join is under the epaulet. I haven't adjusted that, that's not me, that's just it jiggling over time, sorting itself out. That's a bit unfortunate. But I mean, initially it wasn't necessarily designed to have as much stuff hanging off of every possible attachment point as it ended up actually being used. I mean, I'll put a link in the description below to the early pamphlet on it, and you can see how they were initially thinking about it. And in fighting order, you were not going to be having an e-tool and that hanging off there. In terms of getting to food, this is really annoying, because you have to take the haversack off to do it. You can't just dip in. I suspect that people will put sweeties in.
Oh yes.
Pouch. It will probably be against unit regulations, but to get at anything that's not in a pocket. You've got to take that off. It's packed solid in reality with all the stuff in it. So then you've got to undo that. This is suboptimal. I was actually thinking for a while, maybe I was going to sling this here, as if I was in marching order without the large pack, simply just so that I could get the weight on my waist. But yeah, overall verdict is old gear sucks, new gear better, wool is great. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much to Varusteleka for organising this, and lots of people have been doing it in lots of different countries.
Coercing you into doing it, or us into doing it.
Oh, there wasn't much coercion required. We're doing this, do you want to do it?
He's got it round his little finger, he really does.
Yeah. So, yeah, we had a nice Instagram chat with Yari, who was doing 6.5k an hour for 6 hours. By the
In a
time
respirator.
In a respirator. Yari, you're mad. We love it. We're just complete peons compared to that sort of performance. Thank you so much to patrons for helping to fund the channel, to encourage us to go and do mad things like this and wreck our feet.
So as for the stats before we go, that was 25.8 kilometres in 7 hours 18, including breaks and including me forgetting to stop the thing sitting here. 16 minutes 59 a kilometre including breaks. 764 metres vertical climb, 1,023 metres descent. I'm not sure which was the most painful, probably the descent. And weather was unsettled and 17 degrees. So there you go, Zweisimmen to Erlenbach im Simmental.
And hope this was at least vaguely interesting. See you again. Bye.